I'm filming. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and happy Monday. So originally today I had a bi-monthly goals video that was going to go live, and that was recapping the past 2 months goals and telling you guys about my new goals for July and August. But that video is actually going to go live next Monday because I did post on Twitter another question and answer session because I wanted to do one of these for my YouTube channel. Since the last one was a huge success and I got some really great questions, I wanted to go ahead and do that again. So today's video is going to be another question and answer session where I answer your writing and personal questions. Also, I finally have some news regarding the secret nonfiction project I've been working on, and it's launching a lot sooner than you guys think, so make sure you stay tuned at the end of this video for a special announcement on that and to get all of the details on it. So I'm just gonna pull Twitter up on my phone here and we will get started with these questions. Okay, question number 1 is from Camille Nicole, and she asks, how long do you wait after writing the first draft until you start revisions? Now, I actually did answer this question in my last Q&A, so I'm gonna leave that video linked down below. I'll answer it really briefly here, and if you want more details, then you can just click on that link. But I try to wait at least a month after my first draft before I go in and start doing revisions. The next question is also from Camille Nicole. She asks, is there a genre outside of your comfort zone that you think would be fun to write? So I write science fiction and fantasy novels, but I really want to try my hand at crime and mystery. So I think that might be a future project down the road. It's definitely outside of my wheelhouse, although when I first started writing, I was writing contemporary books. So I thought science fiction and fantasy was completely, out of my wheelhouse then, and I now know that it's not, so I don't think crime and mystery would be that difficult. I just need to read more books in that genre to get a better feel for it. The next question is from Tamara Ellis, or Tamara Ellis, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. She asks, I just recently became a published author, congratulations, and I wanted to get my book on Books A Million or Barnes & Noble. How did you do that? So I don't have the best answer for this question. Really what I did was I published through 2 print-on-demand companies. That's CreateSpace and Ingram Spark. And once I hit the approve button and my book appeared on Amazon, it only took about 24 hours for Books A Million, the Book Depository, and BarnesandNoble.com to pick it up and list it on their website. I think this is because I have a Bowker ISBN, so I have a national ISBN from the Bowker agency, but I think that's the reason why it was picked up by these other online retailers. I don't have a concrete answer for that, but I think that's why. If I can find the answer, then I will leave it in the description box below, but I really think that's why. The next question is from Sam Tapper. He asks, is there a thing about adding too many metaphors? What advice do you have on the usage or overusage of symbolism? This is a really good question. I would say when it comes to similes and metaphors, there is a thing as too many. There was a book I read recently where I felt like there were just way too many metaphors. And I don't want to say the name of the book because I don't want to, this channel is not about bashing other authors or anything like that. And I don't like to do book reviews or really say anything negative, but I could not even finish that first book, and I couldn't pick up the rest of the series because I just did not like the style of writing. There were too many metaphors, too much symbolism. So Sam, I can send you a direct message and we can talk about this kind of offline a little more in detail, and I can give you an example of a couple of books that I've read where I think there's too many metaphors, and maybe you can read those, see what you think, and then maybe that'll help answer your question. But I do think you can over symbolize and use too many metaphors. Writing is all about having a balance, and finding that balance is very difficult, and it's just a delicate balance of different story elements. The next question is from Raul. Are you planning on publishing others' work under your publishing company anytime soon? So I'm happy you asked this. Unfortunately, the answer is no, not anytime soon. It's probably going to be a couple of years, maybe a little longer than that down the road. It's really not my main focus right now. Right now, I've been focused on my own books and publishing them and getting them written, and also this nonfiction project that I will talk about at the end of this video. So unfortunately, no. I do plan on doing it someday. There's a lot of research that will need to be done, and certain legal contracts and all that are gonna have to be written up. So it's gonna be a lot of work. I'm excited for that project. It's just not at the forefront right now. The next question is from Felicity. She asks, can you tell us how you got your dogs? Oh, fun, a personal question. I absolutely can. So we got Harley. She's the brown and black dog, or I guess gold, brown, and black. We actually adopted her from the shelter, and we did that in January of 2015. She was already about 8 or 9 months old at that time, so she was still just a puppy. And then we got Denali shortly after. Denali was only maybe 2 months old at the time, but we got her in May of 2015. And it was kind of a graduation present to myself after I graduated with my master's degree in industrial distribution from Texas A&M. Harley just has so much energy, and she's so hyperactive, and we were like, she needs a friend. So we got a husky, and they're just adorable together. They love each other. We adopted Denali from a family who had purebred Siberian Huskies. So yes, Harley is from the shelter and Denali is from a breeder, I guess you can say. The next question is from Bradley. He asks, how do you feel about frame tales being sequels in series? And I'm going to be honest, I've heard the term frame tales before, but I actually did have to look this up to kind of refresh myself as to what it was. So in case you don't know what a frame tale is, I'm going to tell you right now. A frame tale, or a frame story, or also known as a frame narrative, is a literary technique that sometimes serves as a companion piece to a story within a story. So if you think of the movie Inception or Titanic, Titanic's a really good example. Inception is too, but that one's just like crazy mind stuff going on. But for Titanic, we don't really refer back to Rose, the elderly Rose. We're kind of in her story in the past. So that's sort of what a frame story is, where it references back to the present, but you're really focused in on the past. And so his question is, what do I think of frame tales as sequels in stories? I definitely think this can be done, but I do think it needs to be done well. So I can't think of any sequels off the top of my head that have frame stories or frame tales that are really good, but if I do think of some, I'll leave them in the description box below. But I do think that this could really work as an awesome literary technique for sequels. The next question is from Caitlin Lambert. She asks, what kind of camera do you use to film your weekly videos, and what kind do you use to vlog? Really good question. I get asked this a lot, so I'm happy I get to answer it here, but I actually use the same camera to film both my writing advice videos that I post on Mondays and also my day in the life vlogs that I tend to post on Thursdays. It's a Canon Mark II G7X. I absolutely love it. It's the best camera I've ever owned, and I do own I have another Canon. It's the Canon Rebel EOS T3i, I think. I'll leave it right here because I can't remember the exact name of it. And so I really love the T3i for when I'm going on trips and I'm taking pictures and, you know, more of like scenic photos, because it's a digital SLR camera, whereas the Canon Mark II G7X is more of a power shot one, so it's digital, it focuses automatically. The other one does not focus automatically, so I have to set the focus before, which is why I like this one. You'll see sometimes it goes in and out of focus, but it tends to stay focused pretty well throughout my videos. So yes, I would highly recommend the Canon Mark II G7X. I love it. The next question is from Autumn Grace. She asks, do you personally like to write a series opposed to a standalone book when thinking about character arcs and world building? I would say yes, I definitely prefer to write series, since that's all I've written are series. I may try my hand at writing a standalone book one of these days, but I just tend to have so many ideas that will not fit into one book. So especially when I'm thinking about the world and the characters, I feel like I just end up with so many ideas that it ends up becoming a series, whether that's a trilogy or it's something like the Shadow Crown series, which is going to be 6 or 7 books. The next question is from Shaniqua. She asks, if you have a WIP, which is a work in progress, but are building your audience, what kind of content should be in a monthly newsletter? So I'd say even if it's a work in progress, you can still send sneak peeks of chapters. Just let them know that the chapters aren't finalized yet. So you could send chapter 1, you could send the back blurb of your book so they know what your work in progress is about. I've sent things like my writing playlist, some behind the scenes pictures of me working on some stuff, or some images from Pinterest that really get me inspired and motivated to write for a certain series or book that I'm working on. So I think there are a lot of different things you can include in your monthly newsletter, even if you don't have a book published out there just yet. Again, it's really gonna be what is most comfortable for you, but hopefully that gave you some ideas. The next question is from Tiana, or Tiana, I'm gonna go with Tiana Van Zant. She says, hey Kristen, I have 2 questions. What's your favorite part about being a writer, and what's your favorite thing about living in Texas? Great question. So I did answer the first one about my favorite part about being a writer in the previous video, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave that linked down below, so make sure you go check that out. I'll briefly answer it here though. It's really that I get to do what I love every single morning when I wake up. I love writing stories. I love creating worlds. I love creating my characters and seeing them develop and watching their relationships with one another flourish. So I really think the best part about being a writer is being able to write the actual stories and to get all of these ideas that are in my head out onto paper. That is my favorite part about being a writer. And my favorite part about living in Texas is definitely the nature aspect of it. So I lived in Arizona for 11 years, and while I do think it's beautiful there, I actually grew up in Indiana. So I love trees and forests and lakes and water, and I love nature. And like I said, while Arizona is beautiful with the mountains and the desert, it just is a different kind of setting and a different kind of vibe. So the one thing I love about Texas is there are so many trees and forests and plots of untouched land where you can go hiking or, you know, take the dogs for a walk, but I just really like being in nature. And I know you didn't ask my least favorite thing, but I'm gonna go ahead and say what that is real quickly. And that is the humidity. I will never, ever, ever get used to the humidity. It's terrible. But yes, the nature, so the forest, the trees, the lakes, I love all of that. It is my favorite part about living in Texas. Next question is also from Tiana. She asks, what were your favorite childhood movies? Oh, this is a good question. So when I was really little, we'll kind of start with Disney movies here. Beauty and the Beast was by far my favorite childhood movie. I would dress up as Belle multiple times over Halloween. Luckily my mom, she actually sews, so she would actually sew the costumes for my sister and me, and she really liked doing that. So even though I probably wanted to be Belle like 5 years in a row, she would create different costumes so that I would have a different costume every year. So thanks Mom, you're the best. But I would say Beauty and the Beast was probably my number one. It's still one of my favorite movies, especially this new version with Emma Watson. Just outstanding. And then I have 4 more movies I can think of off the top of my head that I just watched religiously. I watched them all the time. And the first one was Matilda. I just loved that movie. And I loved Miss Honey. I just thought she was the sweetest thing, and I actually wanted to be Miss Honey when I grew up. I wanted to be a teacher and all that good stuff. So definitely Matilda. Also Hocus Pocus, that remains one of my favorite movies to this day. October is my favorite month of the year. I absolutely love Halloween. Christmas used to be my favorite holiday, and it's still really high up on the list, but for some reason, October and the fall, and now that I have a house and we get to decorate for Halloween, I don't know what it is about Halloween. I really love it, and it's kind of switched over from Christmas being my favorite holiday to Halloween being one of my favorite holidays. It's just, I don't know what it is about it. It's just so much fun for me, and I love watching scary movies, and I also just love watching Hocus Pocus. Then the last 2 I would say were Harriet the Spy. I remember my sister and the neighborhood kids back in Indiana, we watched that movie all the time, and we went and got our spy equipment and our notebooks, and we'd ride around our bikes and climb trees in the neighborhood and like spy on people and write stuff down. So I feel like I've been journaling ever since I was a little kid. And the last one I would say is Monkey Trouble. I thought the monkey was really cute. I liked the storyline. I thought it was really good, and I used to watch that one all the time. The next question is from Kirsten. She asks, where did you find your beta readers? So this is a really good question. Originally, when I was looking for beta readers, I didn't really have a presence on YouTube or really on any of my social media accounts. This was back in April of 2015, and I remember I did post to a Goodreads forum. I found one for young adult beta readers, and so I just went ahead and posted a little blurb about what my work in progress was about and that I was looking for beta readers, and I got a pretty huge response. I think I got about 8 or 9 people email me. And one of those people was actually Vivian Reese, which I know a lot of you that watch my channel or her channel, you know, you watch both of our channels. So it was so awesome because that's how I met her, through that forum. So random. I now consider her a really good friend and just a critique partner. I would highly recommend Goodreads forums. You would be surprised at the type of response you get. I would also recommend posting your work on Wattpad and finding people that way. And also Scribophile is another really great website. I will leave links to those down below for you guys. But yeah, those are great ways to find some beta readers. Next question is from Natalie Roberts. She asks, how do you feel about social karma? Do you think liking, retweeting, and sharing other writers' work benefits you in the long run? This is such a good question, and I absolutely believe in social karma. I'm all about connecting with other people and networking and sharing other indie authors' work. As you guys know, I want to do indie author spotlights. I love retweeting when people tweet at me, or if it's someone that I've been in contact with and they just released their book, I'll retweet that. I really do believe in social karma. I believe that retweeting and liking and promoting other people's work, you're giving more of yourself and you're helping someone out. And I feel like the more you give, the more you get in return. But it's not even what you're getting in return that's really great, because it ends up being really great, but it's just that feeling of giving and helping other people. That's what I really thrive off of. That's what I love. I love, I don't know, just helping other people and inspiring them and just sharing the amazing work of all the people I've met. So yes, I totally believe in social karma. The next question is from Lindsay Elizabeth. She asks, how do you market yourself to a profitable level? Really good question. Marketing is not the easiest thing in the world. We do have social media, which is free and it's amazing. So I would say on my other platforms, I really don't have as much of a following, like on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I don't have as much of a following as I do on YouTube. So I really found my sort of space where I feel successful and I feel like people enjoy my content and I'm able to connect with people that way. So I would say really find what space you want to be in. Maybe you're really amazing at taking pictures, then Instagram might be a really good way to market yourself or your business to a more profitable level. But really what it comes down to is the more people that are viewing your work or your videos or your pictures, and the more subscribers and followers you have, that's going to increase, you know, things like ad revenue, and it's going to get you to that profitable level that you want to be. But you really have to decide based on your business and your ideas and kind of your whole structure what space you want to be in social media wise. The next question is another one from Tamara Ellis or Tamara Ellis. Again, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. She asks, what are some things that a new author can do to get their name out there and promote their book? So I would say social media, definitely. Make sure you have your author website. Make sure you are present on Facebook, so make sure you have a Facebook page. I would also recommend Twitter and Instagram. And if you're not camera shy or you think you can get over being camera shy, I would definitely recommend starting a YouTube channel. I would also say to reach out to booktubers, book bloggers, reviewers, and just see if you send them an arc of your book. You know, it's kind of a give and take exchange here, where if you give them a copy of your book for free, they'll review it and post on their blog because they have a larger following that can really help get your name out there. Then there are other routes you can go. So you can find professional marketers, book marketers, who run marketing campaigns for your books, but that can be very pricey, very expensive. So I would say to try to reach out to different booktubers, book bloggers, reviewers, other people who have already kind of built a following who'd be willing to read and review your book. I think that's one of the best ways to really get the word out there and to get people to know about your book. The next question is from Ronan AE. They ask, how do you think of an idea and do you have a specific source of inspiration? Good luck. Thank you. So ideas for me, I get asked this a lot, how do I think of an idea? And inspiration really comes from a lot of different places. So if you guys watch my Shadow Crown cover reveal video, you'll know that I got the idea for Shadow Crown when I was sitting at the Houston rodeo watching people getting bucked off of bulls. It was the most random thing. I wasn't in a familiar setting, I was in a unique place, and I just had this idea for this dark fantasy novel, even though the setting I was in had nothing to do with the elements of my dark fantasy novel. For some reason, those ideas just came to me. I did make a video on coming up with story ideas that I will leave linked down below. It's actually one of my most watched videos on my whole channel. So make sure you go check that out because I think that will help you find different methods for coming up with story ideas. As far as having a specific source of inspiration, I wouldn't necessarily say I have one in particular. It's really a mesh of things. Sometimes I'll read a really great chapter in a book and I'll feel inspired, or I'll watch a really amazing movie, or I'll meditate for 10 minutes, and even though my mind is somewhere else, when I come back into my body and my mind again, I will suddenly feel inspired to go write, or I'll have a new idea. So it really comes from a lot of different places. There's not really one specific place that my ideas come from. Okay, we're on the final two questions, and they're both from Kayla Walker, and she asks, what's the nonfiction project? And this is why I saved her question for last, because I'm going to answer that in just a second. Her second question is also, any advice or tricks to know how short or long chapters should be? Should they all be similar in length? Really great question. I did post a video on how to write a chapter. You can go to the link in the description box below. But I don't think there's really any trick as to how long or short chapters should be. I think it's when the chapter comes to a natural stopping point. I have some chapters in the Alpha Drive that are 2 pages, and then I have some that are 16 pages. So it really just depends on the scene, the setting, what you're writing about, what's happening in that chapter. Some of them are going to be really short, some of them are going to be medium length, and some of them can be longer. I would say for length though, I would not go past 25 to 30 pages in a chapter. I feel like that's almost a little too excessive, and maybe you've overwritten a little bit, or you have too many descriptors, or you have scenes in there that can be cut that really aren't relevant to the story. So I would say if you're starting to get to a point where your chapters are 25 to 30 pages long, I think that's a little bit excessive. I really think you should cut that back a little bit and maybe separate it into 2 chapters. To answer the question, should they all be similar in length? I don't think the chapters should all be similar in length. I think you can have a variation, and that's what makes the story exciting and makes it dynamic. So for me personally, I like to have my chapters at all different lengths. So we're going to close out this video with Kayla's last question, which is, what is your nonfiction project? This is the moment I've been waiting so long for. 7 months to be exact. I'm gonna finally announce the secret nonfiction project that I've been working on. It's finally ready, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. By far, the 3 most frequent questions I get asked on social media are, how did I get to where I am today? How did I create my dream life? And how do I manage my time so well? I kept seeing these questions over and over and over again, and I realized that there was a need for something, some sort of tool that would guide people, like the millennial who's stuck in a dead-end job feeling passionless and unexcited every morning they wake up. Or the student who's on one career path but feels a pull in a completely different direction, normally a creative direction, and doesn't know what to do. Or the busy mom or dad who has a passion but cannot seem to find a spare minute in their day to pursue it. Whatever the case may be, I saw a need, a really big need, and I decided to do something about it. That's why next Monday, July 10th, I will be launching a mini webinar series called Hustle Smarter, Not Harder. It's a 3-part webinar series that will help you build the foundation to turn your passion into profit without compromising the value of your dreams. And the great thing is that it's geared toward every passion, not just writing. I'm announcing it here to my YouTube fam first, and because I appreciate you guys so much, I'm actually dropping the price from $199 to $149. And for $149, not only will you get access to the 3 webinars to discover my secrets, tips, and daily routines for building a life you'll love, you'll also get a free 50-page supplemental workbook that will be used alongside the webinars. Now, this workbook will not be for sale anywhere else. It's exclusive only to this webinar series, so in order to get it, you have to sign up. The number of sessions and spots for this discounted webinar series is limited, so make sure you take advantage and sign up before they're all booked up. Registration for the webinar will open on Monday, July 10th at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time at www.thatsmarthustle.com. You will find the sign-up link under the webinar section of the website. Once your registration has been confirmed, you'll receive an email with a link to the first webinar, as well as a link to download the workbook. The second and third webinars can be watched at your leisure. The full series, parts 1, 2, and 3, is an hour long, so you can watch it all in one day, or you can break it up over a couple of days. However you want to do it. It's completely up to you. All of this information for the Hustle Smarter, Not Harder webinar series can be found in the description box below. Again, the sign up will open on Monday, July 10th at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time at www.thatsmarthustle.com. I hope to see all of you at the webinar. And that's all I have for you guys today. If you like the content, please thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. All 3 of my books, The Alpha Drive, The Order of Omega, and Restitution, are available for purchase on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, The Book Depository, and Books A Million. You can also order signed copies of all 3 books. For more information on how to get your hands on autographed copies, please go to my website at KristenMartinBooks.com. Are you a fan of audiobooks? If so, I have great news for you. I have teamed up with Audible, the premier provider of digital audiobooks with over 180,000 titles to choose from, to give you guys some free stuff. If you go to audibletrial.com/KristenMartinBooks, then you can get a free audiobook download and a free 30-day trial for their service. My books are not yet available in audiobook format, but this is something I'm working on for the future. If you're not already following me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, make sure you do that for daily writing inspiration and advice, as well as to stay up to date on any price promotions, announcements, or giveaways that might be going on. I am doing a collaboration with the lovely Mandy Lynn this Thursday on July 6th, and that collab is on the topic on how to get motivated to write. She is going to be sharing her top 3 tips. I will be sharing my top 3 tips. So make sure you keep an eye out for that collab this Thursday, July 6th. My video will start out in my office, but then it will transition over into a vlog. So you will be getting my top 3 tips on how to get motivated to write, as well as a vlog this Thursday. And finally, if you have any questions or anything like me to talk about in one of my next videos, feel free to leave a comment down below. You can also ask a question or post a comment anonymously on my Ask Me Anything page on Tumblr. Again, all the links are listed below. Thank you so much again for watching. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel on your way out. Don't forget, I post new writing advice videos on Mondays and personal day in the life vlogs every other Thursday. I will see you guys next time. Bye.